Today I have a Nilight wiring harness. I'm getting ready to install a light bar, and I ended up ordering one without the harness, so I needed to get one. This one had pretty good reviews, so I figured I'd go ahead and give this one a try. The last light bar, I can't even remember what kind of harness I used. It was a hand-me-down. We got a bunch of extra fuses. We got some extra connectors here. I won't be using those connections, but they are there. If that is something you want to use, I am going to be using shrink wrap and everything to wire mine up. You also have a little bit of a diagram that kind of explains where to wire what. And this harness will actually do two different light bars. I'm only going to be doing one. We take a look at the wiring harness itself. So we got a relay in here. That's our relay there. And you do want to use that. And then we have a fuse block built into it. It has a 15 amp fuse inside. And then you got a couple of the extra spare 15 amps. It's on there pretty snug. There we go, 15 amp. Boy, that's in there tight. All right, there we go. So just a standard fuse. And being using an LED light bar, shouldn't need more than 15 amps. You got your battery connection as well there. And then this other end, so it's kind of a tangled mess here. We got the switch, which you'll send that into inside your car, just a little rocker type switch, only 3-pin. And it's got a quick connect. And then we have two different wire strands for two different light bars. So if you want to hook up two of them, you could do that. You just don't want to go over the amperage or the wattage range that's it's rated for. Now, to kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing here, I have the switch that I ran through the firewall. Kind of hard to see in there. I'm going to have to grab a flashlight. Give me just a second here. Let's see if the flashlight helps a little bit. So I got it right there. I put a little slit in one of the boots for one of the other wiring harnesses right on the side. I'll show you here on the inside. Maybe that might make it a little easier to see it. And then what I did is I just removed the switch and then I pushed the wires through. Try to get the angle. It's definitely not the easiest spot to work in. Not a whole lot of room in that engine bay either. There's the boot on the back there. And you can see where I put a little slit there on the side where it doesn't harm the rest of the harness or anything. And just pushed it on through. And then I got the switch kind of coming out of the fuse box. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do with the switch. So my new light bar didn't show up. This is my old one, and this is a mount that I created myself by welding a couple pieces of steel together. And I'm just going to get everything ready. I'm going to repaint this and stuff, and hopefully the light bar will be here tomorrow. So I finished up the wiring in the meantime. I have the power cord coming over here straight to the battery. I also cut a little notch into the lid, that way it doesn't pinch the wire. And then I had to run the negative to the battery as well. Every single bolt that I was trying to connect it to would not, it just wouldn't give me a negative. I got the relay mounted right here in the front, so it has just enough room to reach the battery. And then I ran the other wire underneath and through the bumper here. And now we're just waiting on the light bar, and hopefully that will be here tomorrow. All right, we are back the next day. My light bar finally showed up. It's a Nilight. This is a triple row, the 420 watt one. It doesn't actually put out 420 watts. It's like LED equivalent. I think it actually uses about 60 or 70, so the wiring harness will be fine for it. And this is it definitely looks a lot nicer than the old one. The mounts are a little bit different, so I may have to play around with my license plate mount that I made, but we'll see. And this doesn't include any of the other parts. I did not get the one that comes with a harness or any of that. The only thing it has is just those mounting brackets. There we go. That's what we're looking at. Nice and shiny. We got the 3 rows there. So I got my mount. I repainted it yesterday. It's not super pretty. I didn't worry about setting it flat or anything like that. It's just going to be what I'm going to use until I get something a little bit better. All right, so I got it all on the mount. I had to kind of play with the brackets a little bit, but I think this is going to work. I also just discovered that you can actually buy license plate mounts. I didn't realize that you could. Here for the last couple of years, I thought I did something different, but you can actually buy a mount. It'll look a little bit different than this, of course. All right, now this is the finished project. I'll go flip the switch. That way you can kind of see it during the day, and then we'll come back at night and I'll show it to you again. So it is pretty bright even during the day. All right, we are back at night. Are you ready? That is
Not
freaking
bad.
bright. So what we need to do is a comparison with my normal headlights and my normal brights as well. So there's my regular headlights. And then the light bar. That's a huge difference. And then those are my brights, my regular brights. And then we got the light bar. Definitely a huge difference. Now, just be careful where you use it. Some of these are not road safe. Depending on where you live, you might not be able to use them. Up here in the Pacific Northwest, we can use them on a lot of the back roads and everything, no problem. But if you're looking for something that's fairly budget range and has a lot of light, this is definitely a good light bar. This is my second Nilight, and they work great. I'll show you a view here in the front. It's definitely nice and bright.